Hello and good morning. For those of you this is the first class of the day, welcome. For the ones that have been on the other two classes, I'm glad you're here again. So thank you so much. I'm Joshua Perkins with Compression Care. Here with me in this session is Brian Groleau. Brian is the Director of Clinical Education for Medi USA. Since 2003, Brian has treated patients with lymphedema in outpatient and home health settings with specific focus on lower extremity lymphedema and wound care. He has initiated and managed multiple lymphedema and wound care programs and has treated patients with lymphatic filariasis in where, Haiti?
Leogon,
Lebanon,
Haiti.
Haiti. And that's with Medi for help. So Brian has also served on the LANA, the Lymphology Association of North America Board of Directors since 2021. We are a sponsor of LANA, but we love working with them as well. I think it's a great organization, and Brian's obviously part of that organization as well. He's also, well, we've known each other 13 or 14 years now. And
Right.
so I've worked with Brian quite a bit. I really enjoyed him. I know that he is a wealth of knowledge, and I know you're going to enjoy this presentation. Please put your questions in the comments. We're going to we have a little lounge setting that's going on after this. So after Brian is done, if we have a few extra minutes before you're jumping into your next class or your next patient, whatever that is, you're welcome to jump over to our Teams lounge. I will post that towards the end of the meeting here. I'll post that in the chat so you can jump into our Teams lounge. It's just a place that I have some team members kind of running that on the side. You can jump in, you can chat, you can ask other questions. My email's on the screen right now. You can always just email me if you need anything at all. And then at the end, you're gonna get emails from us that have links to all of the cool documents and everything that Brian has put together, and also the ability to take the quiz. And Giovanna, welcome. Glad you're here. We'll also have a quiz that you can take, and you'll get a certificate. And the quiz is not going to be impossible. I think. I mean, Brian makes them really hard, but I think you'll.
Good luck.
But you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to get the certificate. You take that certificate, you take this course outline, and you shoot it over to your accrediting body, and they may approve you for some Cs on this as well. So, but I'm gonna shut my mouth and let Brian take it over from here. Thank you so much, Brian, for being here.
Thank you, Josh. For those of you that don't know Josh personally, he is the kind of guy that keeps you laughing. So I've known him for a while. It's always a good time. So thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
All right, let's show everyone what the latest and greatest is at Medi. Josh is going to advance my slides. Thank you, sir. Here's what I have on the agenda today. We got some new innovations. There's a sneak peek picture there for you of what I'm going to be talking mostly about. So latest innovations, couple other new things going on at Medi. And I want to talk to you about our support level. I think it's amazing how we've grown at Medi and what we can do to support all of you on the spot, being Johnny on the spot, and talk about some tools that make it easy for you. So, all right. So the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is something that came out toward the end of last year called the Norton Hand Solution. And what you're looking at here is a picture of me and Steve Norton. Steve Norton has a company called Norton Compression Solutions, and we are distributing this product of his, which is very, very innovative. So what you're seeing here is I did a podcast with him, and you can totally check it out on YouTube or Spotify. It's called the Magenta Lounge. I definitely encourage you to listen to it because Steve talks about, we talk a little bit about the past and the present, lymphedema therapy, Norton School, but then we also talk a lot about the Norton Hand Solution itself, so you can learn a lot about that. I'm going to break it down for you pretty thoroughly here, so you should have a good understanding of it from this session. So here's what it is. Again, it's the Norton Hand Solution, and what we're really solving here is self-bandaging, but you'll learn that we're also going to have a really good option for persistent lymphedema. You're going to hear me say that a few times, persistent fibrosis, but this is truly an easy product for a patient to use. and very effective. And what I love about it is the consistency that somebody can get from using it by turning those knobs. So you've really got the independence of pressure. So go ahead and go to the next one, Josh. Let's bring you back to, for those of you that, well, bring you back. You probably just got done a patient wrapping their hands. So I like to kind of point out all that goes into bandaging for a therapist and for a patient. You can see that in the middle. It's a lot of work for a patient to carry on what we do for them in the clinic. And I think we in the Norton Hand Solution are offering a great, easy, quick alternative to self-bandaging. And then, of course, the picture to the right. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, I believe, in the next slide, but I want you to kind of remember that image. Yeah, so common bandaging techniques. When you look at the picture on the top and the picture that I just talked about in the previous slide, and you see the bandaging techniques that are done, typically the way it works is all of that pressure is going to build up on the edges of the hand. For those of you that are familiar with Laplace's law and the circumference and the radius and the spaces between the bony prominences and the tissue, I'm not going to break all of that down for you, but there's a big difference between the top picture and in the bottom picture. Very different approaches of bandaging. And the top one, this is very standard way of bandaging. And we try to compress the top of that hand and we wrap it around many times. But what's really happening is we're catching pressure on the edges of the hand. And if you want to compensate for that and really get that solid pressure on the top of the hand, you've got to build it out into a sphere instead of a flat surface. And that's how we really get the pressure and the compression that we need on the dorsum of the hand. And for a patient to be able to be able to do this on their own, recreate this on their own, is a big task. So the Norton Hand Solution is definitely going to be addressing this style of compression, but in a much simpler way. So the way this works is it's got an outer shell, which you can clearly see here, but underneath there's a custom black CircAid glove. So those two are together. So this is a custom product. You can achieve gradient with it because there's two knobs and you can tighten them how you need to. There's a foam lining on the inside, and I am going to show you pictures of this so you can see those pictures a little bit better. But those reels that you see on the top of the shell, they are a system that circumferentially goes around the whole shell, because there's a shell on the palm side too, and it basically approximates the shells together to apply pressure on both sides of the hand. It does have a quick release, I'll show you that, and it's got a really cool way of doffing. So here's kind of what I think of when I think of this product. I think of all the hands that I've had in my time, which is a lot, and I think of all the persistent lymphedema patients that I've had. When I say patients, I mean the hands, like the persistent swelling in the hand. You're bandaging it, that swelling doesn't go down. You're bandaging it flat. Of course, as soon as they move into a fist, sometimes it's almost as if you can get the fingers up under there. So like you bandage with a lot of pressure, but as soon as the patient goes into movement, it can be difficult to maintain that pressure on the back of the hand. So this is where my mind gravitates to when I think of the Norton Hand Solution. But to be honest, it's indicated for any level of lymphedema. I mean, obviously, I don't have stage 0 on here, but I definitely stage 1, 2, or 3. So think of it as a self-bandaging alternative. But you can also think of it for patients that have difficulty with self-bandaging, but patients that also need adjustability and pressure. Because if they've got a lot of swelling in that hand and they put compression on, if that compression's on for a little while, they might need to add a little compression to it. So there is the opportunity for adjustability, and it's a great tool to go after fibrosis as well. So I want to point out to you that this is a nighttime solution. It's not a daytime solution, and you'll see, you can kind of tell that from looking, but you'll see the other side of it on the palm side. There's really not a lot of functionality that you're going to have with this. It's a nighttime product. It's made for sleep hours. So again, you're going to see that targeting persistent lymphedema, but I also want you to think of really anyone that struggles with self-bandaging. So here's the CircAid glove. The glove is going to address the fingers, and then you've got the padded outer shell, which is going to go over the top of the custom CircAid glove.
Looks like Kathy has mentioned, obviously, I think she likes this a lot because she's saying we need something like this for the foot. So we're going to need R&D to get on that, Brian.
So funny that you say that. Kathy, you said her name was Kathy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because in my opinion, the two hardest places to bandage are the back of the hand and the dorsum of the foot. And it's because that's where all movement really is. It's not a stationary place. So I totally agree. Dorsum of the foot is a tough place. So, all right. So we have two options for the CircAid custom glove. We have the regular palm design, but we also have an open palm design. So you do have the choices between those. But what was I going to say? They both come in black, and they're both always custom. So, yeah.
Okay.
Here is a better view of the sides and what you're kind of looking at and how the two shells kind of come together. You can see that there's some cables. I'll point those out to you in another slide. But yeah, I'm just going to give you some more views. The padding on the inside can be removed for cleaning. I don't think you need to do this often, especially if you're obviously wearing the glove, but it is possible you can take the foam right out, and it's kind of Velcroed in there. Wash it, air dry it, and put it back in. So there's a good view of the cables. You've got the reels there, but I want you to see how the cables go around the product. And if you look in between the fingers, there's plenty of padding between the fingers so that the cables are not going to dig in. The cables should never touch the skin or touch the glove. I think I have another view coming up for you. There's the palm. You can see where those cables go. And you can see how the contour of the palm is really key. This really helps to really capture that good compression for the dorsum side. And here's the turning of the knobs. So what happens is if you turn them clockwise, it's going to tighten both shells to each other. And a lot of times when people get a reel, they think, well, I'll just reverse it to unwind it, which is half true. You are going to do a reverse click, but you're just going to hear it click. You're not going to continue going backwards. All you're going to do is to get it off and to release the pressure, you're going to go backwards till you hear it click. And if you go to the next slide, Josh, you will see that the cables, well, this is not the slide. This is a slide showing you that the cables are going to float and they shouldn't touch the skin or the glove. But what I wanted to show you was, it might be in the next slide. Yes, here it is. When you click the reels backwards, they just click. You don't keep on, you don't keep reversing them. What happens is you make a fist and it starts to spread it apart. And of course, you can sort of just pull it apart a little bit. And then we have this cool, unique strap here, which Velcros onto the glove. And it kind of just, you put a piece of Velcro here and then another one underneath. And it allows you to just remove the whole thing together, and it doesn't turn it inside out or anything like that. So it's a pretty nifty way of getting it off, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, once again, just remember that this is a nighttime product. You can scan that QR code if you want, but I also gave Josh a handout that you can use for to learn more about it. Just a pamphlet, and then of course the directions. I included those as well. Donning dolphin instructions.
I think, an important question that I'm sure everybody was either about to write or was saving it till the end to write is, is it billable, right? And so I found that, I just found out about this glove recently myself, and so it was very interesting. But that was my first concern is like, are we actually going to be able to build this? Because it looks like there's a lot of parts to it. It looks like it would be expensive, and the more expensive it is, less chance it's actually going to be billable. So we did a little research on it. Chrissy and I worked together. Brian and I talked. We can absolutely build this garment. So if you're just like, oh my gosh, I've been needing this for my patient, and you want to send an order in, we can do it right now.
Nice. Good. Which brings me to my next, I think, topic. So it's custom. So there's your custom. That's just a look at what the custom form looks like. But I'm glad you talked about that, Josh, and what's billable, because now people are probably wondering, well, when do I know to use this versus a profile chip foam sleeve? And to be honest, if it's a Medicare patient, we know that they get two every 2 years. So in a lot of cases, both is totally appropriate. I think with someone with more persistent edema in the hand, this is going to be my first go-to. But we also know the importance of chip foam, high and low pressures. So I think it's clinically a choice you have to make based on how the patient responds to bandaging, perhaps. But I would probably be going after both solutions because I want the freedom, the adjustability, and the impact of such precise compression from the Norton Hand Solution. But I also do want the chipped foam approach for softening tissue as well. So
Yeah,
I
and
think
it looks to me, and I don't know, I may be speaking out of turn here, and if so, just smack my hand, Brian. But I mean, it looks to me like, when you've got that persistent swelling and it's there and you're really trying to get it down, you would use the glove,
totally.
the Norton glove. And so you could use that for however long that takes through the patient's journey. And then when they get down to a place where, this is kind of a stable place, then you can come back in with that profile nighttime garment and give them something
Mhm.
to sleep in if they need to.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Yep. I think a lot of people can use their best clinical judgment. And I do base so much of what compression I get for people in the maintenance phase on how they respond to bandaging.
Yeah.
So another part to this is like, okay, well, it comes up to the wrist. What kind of nighttime sleeve can I get? And we make an A to G sleeve. In other words, we make one that starts at the hand. Obviously, you're not going to get that with this, but we make a C. In other words, from wrist all the way up to arm. But we also make one that's C1. So we make a sleeve that will start up the wrist. So, and these are ready to wear products that you can get, but of course you can also do custom for the arm sleeve, and you can make that profile sleeve start wherever it needs to. So if your Norton Hand Solution is coming up high on the wrist, you can have your profile start, or you can have it overlap. So you have freedom to choose. You don't have to overlap. If there's plenty of compression there and you're worried about too much, then you can get your profile to start a little higher up the wrist. It's called a C1 to G. So this is really summing up the Norton Hand Solution. I think it's a great new product, completely innovative. Haven't seen anything like this in the market before. So my hats off to Steve Norton for developing this. I think he did an awesome job. And if you get a chance to see it live at a conference, definitely worth checking out. But so let's move on to what we have new going on at CircAid. I think a lot of you know our CircAid JuxtaFit product line pretty well, and there's really not a lot to talk about. Nothing's changed as far as the product goes, but I want you to notice that my CircAid word is in black. So Josh, if you advance the slide, I want to show you all that we now make our entire JuxtaFit line in black and beige, and this is a big deal. So nothing's changed about the product other than the fact that we offer it in black. There are some things I'm going to highlight out to you about some of these products, but this has been a big deal for us end of last year. Here's all of your hand products. I know I don't have a picture of the open palm custom glove, but we can certainly make that in black as well. So there's all your hand options. And here is your ready to wear Juxta-Fit Essentials and Juxta-Fit Premium, both available in black. And here is your Juxta-Fit Thigh. So here's one of my favorite items that we have at Medi. Josh, if you could go back to that thigh.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
I love pointing this product out to people because it's got a built-in knee. And that is a very one-of-a-kind product where the knee and the thigh come together. You know, with the different tissues that you've got in the thigh, it's sometimes hard to keep things in place. But if you look closely, especially with the black product, you have a better view of that upper leg strap. It's incredibly wide. It's got a contoured cut so that you have a better fit in the groin area. And of course, that built-in knee, everything, it's as stable a product as you can get for a thigh inelastic product. So one of my very favorite things we do, very well designed. And then of course our
The gentleman's asking, are beige and black priced the same? I'm pretty sure I can confidently say yes on that.
Absolutely.
So.
Yep. Absolutely. Here's something else. This is a Juxta-Fit Basic, no different than the Juxta-Fit you just saw a couple slides ago. But I like to point this out to people to make sure they know that we came out with this option. When you order, well, historically, when you order a Juxta-Fit, it's going to come with 2 liners. It's going to come with a foot piece. But with the way coverage works, the foot and the leg are 2 separate body parts. And we wanted you to have the option to choose whatever foot piece you wanted to. So we came out with the Juxta-Fit Basic, which is literally just the Juxta-Fit in itself, so that you can order the Juxta-Fit Basic, but you also can order whatever foot piece you need to go with that. And I think those options are on the next slide. Nope, this is your full leg option. Let me talk about this. So oftentimes with coverage, this is going to help Josh out. When you have a full leg lymphedema patient, you have to order a full leg or a whole leg kit. Really, and you correct me if you slap me, Josh, if I'm wrong, but you want that under one SKU to bill if you have a full leg lymphedema. So we have created that for you so that you can have a Juxta-Fit whole leg under one SKU. What happens is the cheat sheet, the handout that I'm giving you at the end of this talk will have all the places where you can put your measurements in. And when you submit those measurements, then we can mix and match what sizes go with what and send it under one whole leg kit.
That's a one whole leg kit. Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool, for sure.
And there's all your foot pieces, which all come in black and beige. So you have the freedom to, of course, order whatever foot piece you would like with your Juxta-Fit Basic and your Juxta-Fit whole leg, for that matter. Here's the continuation of them. So
yeah, there's a lot of options there, and they're I mean, depending on the patient, each one of them has a place.
Absolutely. The last update I'll tell you about when it comes to the oh wait, sorry, this is a Juxta-Late HD. I haven't talked about this yet. Of course, comes in black, no different than anything else. What I wanted to point out here was that you see on the Juxta-Late HD, we came out with this a couple of years ago, was the Easy On panel. And that helps hold it in place so the patient can put the garment on hands free. They can come down and start from the bottom and approximate each strap as they see fit. So this was a great addition we came out with a couple of years ago, been a game changer. You don't have to use it. You can actually just put it on with like collapsed against the leg. We designed it that way, so it was optional to use. But here comes the kicker. Here comes the latest and greatest. We have now implemented that for the Juxta-Fit as well. That was by high demand. Of course, it makes total sense. patients have an easier time getting it on. You don't have to hold it in place. So pretty cool update there.
It's awesome.
All right. So that's CircAid. We've got Norton Hand Solution. We've got lateral seam. I want to talk to you, or sorry, CircAid updates, but I want to talk to you about the 550 lateral seam. This is another really unique option at Medi. We initially came out with this for the 450 or Cozy 450, but we now offer it in the 550 as well. And we've seen a lot of people really liking this option. As you can see in the picture, that seam is running on the lateral on the outside of his leg. So what that means is there's no seam running behind the knee. There's no seam over the heel or along the foot. So when someone's seated like him, as you can see, there's no body weight on the seam thanks to that lateral placement, and it's going to increase comfort. You can certainly use these in conjunction with our functional zones that we have, functional zones. Some people really think it's got a sporty look to it, kind of like a legging does. So a lot of people have enjoyed having a different kind of appeal. And we changed our heel design because of this. So we've really optimized our heel so we have a better fit in the heel. And then Medi went and did a survey on this, where they surveyed 336 patients, and 95% recommended that they would recommend the lateral seam to other patients. Here's sort of the breakdown of all that information, but 98% reported very good to good when they were seated with the seamless, 97% at the foot, 97% at the foot option, and 93% extra comfort at the back of the knee. That's just in general with mobility. So huge turnout there. A lot of people are loving it. Again, unique to Medi, really cool. All the fashion elements and designs come with it. If you look at the characteristics, 93% report very good wearing comfort, same with the fit, and of course the donning. Not just great reviews for all of this. And of course the placement of the seam. Yeah. So I really encourage you all, if you haven't given this a shot, it's just another great option, good alternative. I've recommended it to so many patients. You know, all of our patients come in just different needs and sizes and tissue textures. So I find, especially with that thigh high, it's a big help to get that seam out of the back of the knee. So pretty cool. Here's what it looks like on. I like to point this out to people. It's going to run along the outside of that foot, and of course, right up that lateral. Some people think it needs to run a little bit more lateral, like along that heel, but it doesn't. The heel has got its own little cup there, and that seam just runs above it. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So with this, just question came in. Will reps assist in the measuring, or do we always need to send to a medical supply shop? And I mean, I can let you answer, but I've got answers too. So
that's a multi-answer question. So our reps can assist. We have support that I'm going to talk to you about in just a few more minutes. But also, I think sending someone to a fitter is always a good idea. Fitters do just that. They fit to compression, and they know how to measure for Medi garments, right? And we have a very unique way of measuring. We would love to show you that if you're a clinician, and we can do that. We offer classes to teach measuring for custom garments, because these are all custom. And it's not as simple as measuring for, say, volume, but it is not rocket science. I can tell you that as well. But
yeah, for sure. And I mean, what I've found too, just in the industry, is that a lot of and I'm gonna type this too. I'm sorry, I'm trying to type the answer because she's lost audio, but I want to make sure that I say it to everyone else as I'm typing it. But a lot of our therapists like to control it and like to have their hands on the measuring. And so I think that it really kind of depends. If you're in what we would call a desert area where you don't have that local fitter, then getting the reps to come in and train and give you the tips and give you the tricks of learning to measure each product better. And like Brian said, it's not rocket science, but it does give you control over it, and you start to know, like, ooh, with this skin type, with this look, I'm gonna loosen up this measurement. I'm gonna tighten up this one. I'm gonna take a little extra length on this one because I know it's got to get around this spot right here. You'll start to learn that as you do it, and it's going to give you a little extra control. But Medi actually does have, I mean, the reps there will be happy to come out and teach you those things. If you've got somebody local you trust, yeah, by all means, send it over there. The only
Nice.
limiting factor on that one would be, does that local person have all the insurance contracts you need for every patient? If they don't, then we're a good option for that. If they do, then you honestly, you've hit the lottery on where you're at. But if you don't have that, learning from those reps and finding a good way to to learn all those tips and tricks would be the best thing to do. And along those same lines, Janice has just asked, and maybe you could put a little link in the chat yourself, or in the private chat, and I'll post it to the public chat. If you could give where can they sign up for your classes, Brian? You've
Mm.
made a big impact here. Where can we sign up to learn from Brian? Is
That's coming in the next slides. Um,
Oh, perfect.
yeah,
I just need to hit the
awesome.
advanced button and we'll be good to go. I'll go
But
ahead
Josh,
and
let
hit.
me just piggyback
Yeah,
on what you're
sure.
saying. As a therapist, I like to be in the know of the garment that I'm getting for my patient. So I love when therapists want to measure, and we do offer those classes, and I'll explain to you how you can know what's coming to your town.
There we
So go
go.
ahead. Oh yeah. So just a recap on, of course, the lateral seam. Everything the same is offered as far as colors. And the next slide, I think, is the fashion elements. You want to, yeah, fashion designs. So you can order all of this stuff the same, which is great. And there's the look on your order form. If you want the lateral seam, you just got to find that box and check it.
Good. And a lot of people too tell me, like, some of the things that I hear about this, since we're talking about measuring and learning to measure and doing that kind of thing, that they look at that form, and as a whole form, it overwhelms them. They go, I don't know what to do here,
Mhm.
and but if you look at the Medi form, it's broken out into boxes, right? And what I've always told every therapist is just take it box by box.
Take it box
Look
by
at this
box.
box. What's the question it's asking? Select the answer to that question and move to the next. You look at it at a whole glance, and yeah, oof, it can be overwhelming. But take it box by box, and you'll work through it. One other, and I think this has been a common theme in your presentation, Brian. Is there an upcharge for the lateral seam?
No.
Awesome. I didn't know the answer to it, so I'm really glad to hear that. That's good.
Yeah, same. So when you say box by box, I totally agree. Box to box, but go top across, and don't go down. Go across each row, box by
Good
box.
point. Good point.
All right, this is rounding third base to the end of my presentation. So I want to talk to you about our education and our support, our greatest support. Obviously, we have our website, mediusa.com. You can see all of our products on there. On our website, we do have all of our forms are on the website. You can even access Medi University, which you see here. Our education platform, we have Medi University, which is where we post all of our webinars. You can register for all of our webinars and all of our classes on Medi University, but we also have a bunch of on-demand videos that you can watch. We have virtual support. So if you go to the next slide, Josh, I'll explain all of this stuff.
Absolutely. And I went ahead and put that university.mediusa.com in the chat, so it's a link there they can just click.
I think that link is a different link. So the one that they're going to need is, I think, Medi University. I'll have to look that up. So take that out, and while we're doing questions, I'll make sure I get the right. I think it's coming at the next slide, actually. So it'll come. So virtual clinic support. This is something we have at Medi, where we have an educator. So I'm over our education team at Medi, and we have 8 of us that do education. And every week, one of the educators is sitting in their office at home, and they are fielding virtual appointments. So things that we can do garment fittings, we can do flat knit and CircAid measuring. Now, when I say this, it sounds amazing, and it is amazing, but I want you to understand, like, nothing is ever as good as it is when you are live and hands-on. So if you are a first-time measurer, probably virtual support is not going to be a good option for you. This is really an option to help people that know what they're doing a little bit and just need pointers. We can help people with garment selection. It's like, okay, my patients at this point, what products do you have, or what's most appropriate for what these issues are? We can help problem solve through that. Yes, we can help with the garment fittings. We can help with the reduction kit fittings. I just want to give you full transparency that there are some things we just can't do virtually. And if you're a first-time reduction kit fitter, first-time measurer, probably we're going to want you to meet with a rep first or go to a class, so on and so forth. Have we made some things work out? For sure, but I want to set you up for the right success with your patients. So we do webinars, private webinars. If you've got a group of people or a group of 2 or even just one person, like if you want to know information about how to measure or how to select garment, we will give you a private webinar. We'll give your group a private webinar. So lots of different things that we can do. We've done in-services where a local rep will show up with products, but we will virtual in and do some of the education there. So lots of different options. What I want you to also take away from this is that virtual support is done through the request through your local rep. So that's who we need you to be connecting with. We do have an inside sales team as well for those of you that live in areas where we don't have a local rep. We have virtual reps, basically, is what that is. But all of the support that we do is scheduled and set up through our local reps. And I want you to understand that. So you can't reach directly out to that virtual clinic. It's always going to go through the rep. So Josh, if you go to the next slide, here is, okay, so that is the website. I know there's a couple different ones. So there's the website that you want to be looking at for if we send you an email of a master class that's coming to your town, we're going to send you to Medi University to sign up for that and register for it. When you're done with that class or that webinar or whatever it is, you have to go back into your sign-in and take a post survey. Then we can give you a certificate of attendance and all that kind of stuff. So, of course, all the on-demand stuff is here, like you heard me saying before. But this is where we kind of post everything education. We've got our measuring videos on Medi University, which are awesome. So a lot of good support there. And it's just more Medi University kind of showing you some of the on-demand stuff. Here is the form I was telling you about. This is a really cool form. Josh is going to love this form because this is a ready-to-wear order form cheat sheet. And it's basically all of our ready-to-wear products. And the cool thing about it is you can put those measurements in and submit this form to Josh, in which they can submit this to us, and your sizes will be chosen for you. So if you're sending a lower extremity that needs a different size than the upper leg versus lower leg, just put your measurements in, and we're able to figure that out for you. That's way, because you're ordering that whole leg. It's hard. It's going to be hard for you to pick which sizes you need from each, but we have that all pre-done. So we've got different kits for different sizes already chosen. So this is a really cool cheat sheet for you all when ordering CircAid, when ordering ready to wear circular knit, and ready to wear profile. It's all on there. So all the colors and everything we offer. So all in one piece of paper, double-sided.
So I actually I added a link to the chat there that is the Big Day of Training resources. And so if you click on that link, it will actually take you over. Brian provided this. We are getting all of those documents uploaded. I believe they're already there. If something's missing, the team's working hard to get everybody's documents on there. So go to that link, though. That'll give you the training resources. Don't worry if you didn't catch any of these. We are going to send out some emails at the end of this, well, probably tomorrow. That's a Thursday project. But probably tomorrow, Friday, we'll get everything out to you, and you'll have all of these links. But I did put it in the chat there for that as well.
Thanks, Josh, for moving all my slides for me.
Yeah, man. I love it. Is this? Oh, we hit the end. We got to the end.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to put one more link in here. This the next link is actually for the lounge that I set up. We've set up a lounge that's kind of running all day. Different team members on my team are popping in and out of the lounge just to answer some questions. If you've got more questions for Brian, you're always welcome to email me, and I will make sure that I get it to Brian. But you can also pop over to the chat, and my team will take care of you, answer some of those questions. The people that are in that chat are the people you're dealing with when you are working with our company. So it's our benefit verification team. It's our case managers who are all certified fitters. We've got CODA certified case managers on here too. So we've got some good education here, or good educated people, and they'll be able to answer any of your questions. And jump over to that Teams Lounge. For those of you who are, yeah, sure, bring it.
One thing I forgot to mention is we do have a lot of fitters out and about now. That is something new at Medi, and we don't have them at all cities, but it's definitely worth a question of, hey, do I have a fitter in my area? So we have a fitter, a mobile person, and they can come do the measurements and then send those.
It's a good resource. It really is a good resource. One of the things that I have been working on with some of the fitters, if you've got a patient that you think, and you are lucky enough right now to live in one of the cities that Medi has those fitters, one of the things to help them out, and this is probably not really something Brian would talk about, but from my standpoint, right? They come in, they measure a patient, they send that paperwork, you send your part of the paperwork, they send their part of the paperwork, all of that's going through, and then we find out we don't have insurance coverage. And then the patient is hit with, well, you got to pay cash for it. Now we got to go down this road, right? And we have payment plans, we have things to help. We have the compression guru side, which can give them a much cheaper price. But it's better and easier for everybody, for the patient, really. But also for that rep is if you get the information sent in for that patient first, get the benefit verified, and then you'll know, and we'll be able to talk to that patient. You won't be able to talk specific numbers without the quote, but at the same time, you can at least say, hey, you don't have a deductible. You're great right now, and your coinsurance is only 10% or 20%, whatever it is, right? And so it's helpful to go ahead and get the benefits run, and then call in one of those fitters. Again, if you're lucky enough to live in those cities, and that way that fitter is they know when they go there that we're going to be able to move forward, and we're not just spinning our wheels and hopes that patient's there. And I think that's it's better for the patient because it gets their hopes up. They get this fitting done, everything's done, and then they get smacked with, sorry, you don't have coverage. And that's very few and far between. It doesn't happen all the time. Because of our care coordination network, we can usually make things happen. Whether if it's not us doing the actual billing, we have partnered with other national billers, and we make sure that we care coordinate out so that they can take over some of those. But there are still cases out there where patients are underinsured, or their deductible is just so high that they don't know that they can't actually afford it. So, but check that first. It's always helpful to check that first. Another question that came in, where do we take the pop quiz? I'll see if I can get a link over here real quick, but you will get an email for the quiz. and that will automatically generate the certificate and send you the certificate. So we have that web page set up. It's actually the same website that you registered on. We're just IT team is making the change and updating that to pre-meeting, post-meeting, and so that post-meeting website will be available here shortly. But I'll make sure that we get you all of those in an email too, so you have all those links, Julie. Thank you for asking that. Any other questions that we got coming in? Brian, I think you killed it, man.
Well, thanks. I appreciate
I
it.
love it.
Thanks, everybody.
No, I appreciate you being here to do this. It was neat to actually see the Norton glove more in action. I know I saw a picture of it the other day, but I didn't actually get any explanation on it. And then I went straight to how can we make this happen?
Totally.
So it's going to be fun. I think it's a great product. You know what's crazy about it is being in the industry this long, and I didn't invent it. What the heck's wrong with me?
Now, if you listen to the podcast, you'll find out how long it took Steve to get this to fruition. I'm not going to give the answer away. You got to go listen to it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's a teaser.
Yep, for sure.
Well, I definitely appreciate everybody for being here. For those of you who are showing up on the next session or in a later session today, I will see you later today. And thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody, all the guests, and thank you for Brian for doing this. I do appreciate everybody's support here.
Thanks,
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks now. Bye-bye.